Straight up, her water broke at the appointment.
Whoa. Holy moly. Whoa. We have a baby.
We're gonna go home, time contractions, try to keep Melissa comfortable. And then when the contractions start being serious and within 5 minutes of each other, that's when we start making plans of moving to the hospital. They say that she can go as long as 4 minutes apart with the contractions, or maybe even 3 minutes apart with the contractions if she feels like a cowboy. But my job is to listen to her and let her know what's going on and advocate for her needs.
We just left our midwife's appointment where my water broke. I'm feeling very moist here in the front seat and a little uncomfortable, but we are headed home to labor until at least 10 p.m. tonight, at which point, if I have not started having contractions, then we go back to the hospital. So here we go.
Baby, I love you. You're the best. I'll be honest, the fact that this is my last day without really being a dad is just now starting to set in. I've been fortunate to have had the presence to acknowledge that with Melissa a few times. When we found some silence, either on the couch or laying in bed or wherever we found a little bit of silence, to acknowledge that it was among the last times that we were going to experience that. The pregnancy has made me more and more aware of that, but today is really the last day that I'm not a dad. How about that? I'm really thankful for where I'm at right now. So many people have a really hard time making all this happen, and we are very fortunate to be able to have such a smooth ride. I love you, baby.
I love you too. Come on, person, fucking do something.
All right, father's log. It's really happening. Contractions are within 5 minutes. I just had a harrowing drive to the hospital, and it was stressful and crazy, but Melissa is a badass and she's killing it. She is checked in. I just parked the car. I'm hauling bags. That is a child seat properly installed in the car, and we're doing this thing. So wish me luck.
Look at those teeth. Hi.
Welcome to the world.
There's a Penelope. Do this for your story.
Whoa. Holy moly, I made this thing in my body.
What's your guess?
I don't know.
6 pounds.
7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 7.4.
Wow.
7:14. Good morning.
Morning.
Father's log, day 1. I woke up as a daddy. She woke up as a mommy this morning.
Crazy.
We've had great success with day 1. Our little baby isn't much of a crier for day 1, which is fairly common, and that's supposed to ramp up today. So the more painful bits of fatherhood are going to be coming quickly, but we're here and it's great, and the hospital has been successful, and Melissa is happy and healthy and was a badass, strong, powerful woman. Last night during the labor, she was really only pushing for about an hour after the contractions started early, water breaking at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it only took 12 hours from water break to baby in arms. She is happy and healthy and strong, and we have a beautiful baby who is also happy and healthy and strong. Anything, my love?
Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Father's log, day 1. Here we are, still in the hospital. This is my little Princess Penelope right here. We have had a great stay. Penelope is about 18 hours old now, and we have had great experiences with all the lactation consultants and nurses, and everybody's been really, really great. We're doing some skin-to-skin contact, and this baby is just sleeping. I've been told that day one is a very, very sleepy day, so we're enjoying it. What a beautiful end to day one. A little daddy skin to skin time with my little Penelope Eloise. And learned a lot today. Really feel like a dad. Really feel like I'm making this little girl comfortable. I can't wait to make her feel strong and loved and watch her take over the world someday. Hard to believe it's only been 24 hours. My little Penelope is about to turn 1 day old, and my sweet Melissa is killing it. It's such a soldier and an amazing thing. It's really cool being a husband through this process, because I really feel like our job is to just be in awe of the whole thing and get the privilege of having a front row seat. And we have to earn that front row seat by working hard, keeping everybody happy. It's a beautiful thing. Father's log, day 2. I bid farewell to my lovely hospital bed, my sweet Melissa.
We're ready to take the baby home.
And little baby Penelope. Oh, look at her. Headed home. All right, she's strapped in. That's not an easy experience. Maybe practice a little bit with the child seat before you're actually strapping a baby in it. Father's log, day 2. What a whirlwind of 3 days it has been. I started this journal on the 36 hours leading up to labor. We were fortunate, and Melissa was able to have her baby within 24 hours of our due date, so things went very according to plan. We decided to go a cool hybrid birth plan that used midwives but was in Baylor Hospital. So we got to have all of the amenities and access to modern technology and science in the hospital, but also had a more natural, holistic approach guided by a midwife. Dallas Midwife Associates was who we chose, and they were incredible. I wouldn't have changed a thing. Dr. Singer is their OB surgeon on call, and he was a really great guy. We got to meet him during the diversion, but otherwise had no need for doctors. We got to spend all time with nurses and midwives. We went in, Melissa was in a lot of pain. We went from 20-minute contraction separation all the way down to 4 when it shifted. So we went from not needing to go to the hospital to needing to be at the hospital pretty immediately. Our plan was lined up to start heading to the hospital when we hit 5-minute apart contractions, so that we could make sure to maximize our stay on the back end and not have to spend too much time taking up the very important labor and delivery beds there at the hospital. So I am now driven to the hospital with a laboring wife. I'm driven home from the hospital with a brand new newborn baby. Both were anxiety-filled adventures. I would say the screaming, writhing in pain woman that you love, filled with a thing you don't even know you love yet, was certainly the most harrowing of the experiences of the last few days. After we got to the hospital, Melissa was throw up from pain as soon as we walked in the door. So I knew things were going rough for her. Fortunately, she called an audible. She needed an epidural, and we were able to make all of that happen very quickly. By the time I was done parking the car, they had an anesthesiologist in there doing the thing, and she certainly needed it. There's a point where you don't get to have an epidural anymore. I don't know if it won't go into effect fast enough, or if maybe it's the contractions being too close together make it too hard for the anesthesiologist to put a catheter in your spine. I'm not sure, but I do know that we barely made it under the limit. We got to the hospital about 7:30, 7:45 yesterday. and we had our baby at 10:44. So 3 hours from door to being transferred to the new family floor was a pretty speedy experience, especially for a first-time mom. Since we had the midwife approach, I was holding a leg, and Taylor, who was our head midwife that was on call and handled everything, I couldn't be happier. She was incredible. We had one of the nurses from Baylor holding the other leg, and we're doing a lot of encouraging for pushes. Kind of like the whole last month and what I expect the next month to be like. My job is really just to smile and be supportive and don't get my feelings hurt, don't take things personally, and be a positive influence and energy in the room for both the staff and my wife. The energy and vibe of everything is probably where the husband has the most direct impact. And I, even looking back, am really proud of the way that I handled myself and was able to contribute. So if I have one recommendation to a new dad going into all of this is swallow your pride. You're not important, and just go with it. Sometimes you can feel extra, and it's kind of hard because we've been sitting in the wings this whole time. And it's your baby too, but everybody is focused on the woman who is having the emergent surgery happening, basically, and that's how it's supposed to go. So just go in calm, level-headed, ready to smile and nod for a few days, and just don't take anything personally. A lot of people are working hard and in a lot of pain. So after we started labor, we were really only pushing for less than an hour. I know that was a unique circumstance. We've been lucky in a billion ways, and that is certainly one of the ways that we've been lucky. Things get crazy fast. I got to catch the baby. I think that is a midwife exclusive opportunity, which means that when things got crazy, I got to get down in between the legs and help actually guide my baby out of my wife, which was really incredible. I just can't explain how incredible that was. We also did what's called delayed cord clamping, where we spent some time letting the nutrients that were in the cord finish passing through, and then I got to cut the cord, which was really cool. After the woman that has the baby rests for a few minutes, I think it was like 45 minutes or an hour maybe, then you get moved up to another floor and kind of settle in, and there's a room for a dad or partner to sleep on. And it's a pretty cool way that they have everything all set up. I went up there at midnight-ish, and the first 24 hours of having my baby was crazy. It felt like 3 days, and it felt like instant, all at the same time. One of the things I wasn't expecting is how technical breastfeeding can be. It's really crazy how the woman isn't producing milk or colostrum before the birth, and it's really the hormonal shift of the crazy birth that makes the milk start to come in. There are lactation specialists for a reason, because it's complicated. There's a billion things that go into coming into play. Not only is a woman learning how to do a new lactation, but the baby has never had anything not just pumped directly into its body. So the concept of swallowing is new to it. The concept of having a tongue in its mouth is new to it. Instinct certainly comes into play, but breastfeeding is hard work. And early, first day, you're supposed to present the breast every 2 hours, and it's not always successful. I think one of the really crazy parts about having a baby is you start to be in touch with instinct and what your job is on the planet. Melissa and I were incredibly fortunate, and we didn't have any problems with our conception on the front end, but I know lots of very good friends have fought very hard, and that there can be some really difficult times there for both the man and the woman, and feeling like they're not necessarily able to fulfill their destiny as a human. And that can kind of be tough to wrestle with. Like I said, I didn't have to experience it, but I wanted to make sure to take a moment and be sensitive to that, because I saw firsthand how it can be as we go into the lactation part. And Melissa's great. She's powerful. She conquers everything. She doesn't let things get her down. And I still was making sure to go out of my way to be positive and encouraging. I think that that is a really, really important thing that I'd like to make sure I'm hammered in, is breastfeeding is hard. It takes a couple days. We're only 30 hours in. It's still tough. She's in there right now doing a great job. I know we got a successful latch before I came out here to talk to you guys. So just be supportive and do everything that you can to make sure that your partner doesn't feel like they're messing up if it's not going perfectly, because it doesn't go perfectly no matter what. So just be ready for a little bit of a challenge, and you get to continue to do more of the supportive things. There's definitely a trend. Good job, baby. I think you're beautiful. You're doing a great job. All of that stuff is just needs to get tattooed on the inside of your palm so that you just say it over and over again. It's true. When it's your baby, I've never thought Melissa was more beautiful in my life than this whole process. So I got to cut the cord and hold my baby and be a part of all of that craziness that's going on. They're so small and need so much help. So we brought them up to the bed. We had the opportunity to keep the baby in a bassinet. We were only separated for the baby for 2 hours out of the last 36. That's not really how I was expecting. You always see the old videos of people going to the nursery and looking through the glass. So I don't feel like that's necessarily how it's done, unless you want it to be. They gave us lots of options for giving them an opportunity to take the baby for 2 hours if we needed to be able to try to relax, but 2 hours is the max because you got to present the breast every 2 hours. So that was interesting. And yeah, Baylor's just great. I had overwhelming support from friends and family. We had some friends set up what's called a meal train that I'm really looking forward to. Every couple days somebody is in charge of checking in with us and trying to get us some food, and I think that's really incredible that we have a support system around us that has even considered feeding us after they did all of the hand-me-downs and baby shower things and all that jazz. So that's a really cool thing that is worth looking into. You know, I probably need to get back in there and check on my gal. I just wanted to give all of the thoughts that I had while they were still fresh on my mind. It's been incredible. If you're watching this, then it probably means that you have a baby or want a baby or planning on a family, or maybe you're even checking to see if this is up for you. I know the road ahead of me is going to be really tough and hard, but I just can't even imagine having made any other choices in my entire life that would have possibly changed this moment right here, with that woman in there holding that future woman in her arms. Truly magical, and I appreciate all the support from everybody. I hope this helps. Good luck on your journey.